their own sources are being translated by their own scholars. That's one of this reveals some of the biggest holes that Islam actually has.
So according to this hadith, no Muslim should be reciting the Quran ever, because all they have is differences of opinion about every single verse, every single. So yeah, I mean, that means that Yasser Qadi has now caused this difference, so now they should stop reciting it completely. Good hadith, sister. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was going to say 2 more hadiths over. It's very interesting on 5062 also.
Yes.
I'll wait for you to pull it up if you want, or.
Yeah, go on. You can read it for us.
Okay, it says narrated Abdallah.
1 second.
I'm sorry.
I just want to show the Arabic on the screen for the
Arabic.
We have some requests from the Arabic speakers. Okay, so yeah, go ahead, sister.
Okay, and the Sahih al-Bukhari 5062 says narrated Abdallah that he heard a man reciting a Quranic verse which he had heard the Prophet reciting in a different way. So he took the man to the Prophet and told him the story. The Prophet said, both of you are reciting in the correct way, so carry on reciting. The Prophet further added, the nations which were before you were destroyed by Allah because they differed. So that's confusing to me. Maybe you guys can help me with that.
Oh, that's interesting. So the nations differed because the nations were destroyed because they were differed. So does that mean that this must include the Muslim nations? I'm just going to present that new one that you told us about. Don't differ, he says, for the nations before you differed and they were destroyed. Sahih Bukhari 3476. It may be a paraphrase to, if it was narrated again and again, it would be different. You know, yeah. It's the same thing basically. So, yeah, so he's telling them not to differ, and all they do is differ.
But you're not supposed to recite it if you have differences, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it is. All Sahih Bukhari. I'm just trying to get the Arabic in as well.
Yeah, Othman was actually hit with this issue, and same thing that they didn't want to differ like the nations before, like the Jews and the Christians. So that's why he burnt all the differing versions of the Quran. Yeah, you know, not only that, but the Quran itself says that if this book were from other than Allah in chapter 4, verse 82, then you'd find it in many differences. And I don't know about you, but many differences. I think the last I saw from Hatun's slides on this, there's like 92,000 of them just between the readings that we have access to today. 92,000. So I think that qualifies. So the Quran is saying that if it differs in any, if it differs, a lot of people will translate it as, you know, contradictions, but actually ikhtilafan means differences. So ikhtilafan kathira means many differences, and that's many different. 92,000 is many differences. So you could use that as an argument as well to say that the Quran actually is wrong by its own. It's not from Allah by its own standards, by its own statement.
Yeah, I would call this the only prophecy of Muhammad that Muhammad said that came true. He said the nations differed and they were destroyed. Now Muslims have differed on the different qira'at, and now it's come to light that the Quran isn't preserved, and there were lots of differences, and now is going to destroy his religion.
Yeah, and we know historically as well the differences that exist between the different readings cause people to be tormented and to be tortured. There's a famous case in the 10th century. Well, there's two, but let's just focus on one of them. Ibn Shanabuth and Ibn Mujahid. Ibn Mujahid had the government backing him up, and he was the one who canonized the 7 readings of the 7 qira'at, not ahruf, but Muslims confuse like 7 ahruf, 7 qira'at, so they must be the same thing. They're not. Okay, he was the one who canonized the 7, and he had government pull backing his decision. There's people that were differing with him on that and say that they have chains that go back, like they have Ibn Masud's reading, for example, or they have other people's readings. They didn't want to just take his 7. So because he had the government backing, people were, this Ibn Shanabuth, for example, he was whipped, he was beaten, he was imprisoned, he was forced to recant his position. So yes, when you have that political power and you basically have the swords to someone's neck, you can force them which Quran you have them accept, and etc. So yeah, this problem of different Qurans, different readings of the Quran, it's big in Islamic history, and it resulted in much torture and government tyranny.
Thank you, brother. There's lots of these types of hadith that like what Sister Kay told us about. This one I've got here on the chapter of stoning and legal punishments. It says, I have read in the Quran, and then it gives a verse, and if an old man and an old woman commit adultery, stone them both. I challenge any Muslim to show me this verse in the Quran now.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's been lost. Tell us where it is. And it's one that's important enough to be like to provide a legal punishment for adultery. You see here, the chapter on legal punishments. Where is this in the Quran today?
And look at the fear. The fear is that after a long time, people are not going to be stoning anymore. Because why? Because they don't find this in the book of Allah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Go on, sister. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't see it on this. Did you share it on the screen?
Oh, thank you, sister. You see?
So here we go.
You see that?
Yeah.
Thank you, sister. Sahih hadith. I did not find the sentence of stoning in the book of Allah, and then the highlighted in the yellow. I have read it in the Quran. And here is the verse that he read in the Quran. You got even quotation marks. The translators are so funny. And if an old man and an old woman commit adultery, stone them both. So in the Arabic, where is it?
الشيخ.
قد قرأتها الشيخ والشيخة إذا زنيا فارجموهما البتة. Yes, so this is not in the Quran today. I challenge any Muslim to show me this in the Quran today. So where is it? And why is it not in the Quran back then? Because he says, I did not find it. So where was it? Where was it back then? That's from the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab.
Exactly.
First, the generation of where he was with Muhammad. So where is it?